This is a tutorial on how to bid on an online auction. I'm Allison James with Simplify Auction Services, and I'm going to go through the process of creating a new account. When you're on an auction and you're scrolling through and you find an item you want, that's just the easiest way to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and bid on lot number 7, which is some quilts and shams. To get started, I'm going to click the bid to. So that's going to help me get started with a bid. If you already have an account, it will pre-populate for you and you can log in. And that would be any account with HiBid. If you don't, go ahead and click register. And when you do that, you have to have a unique email address for that account. So I'm going to go ahead and add my email in, and you must confirm it because it will send you a message confirming your email. Check email, and then it's going to have you fill in some information about yourself. I'm going to go ahead and fill this information in and talk to you while I do that, but pause my screen. So let me just type this information. It asks for your first name, last name. You don't have to give a company name. This is just information so we know who is purchasing. Now, keep in mind when you go through this entire process that it will you're not going to be sent a bunch of stuff or whatever. It's simply to validate that we have a real bidder going on in the system. So just fill in your field, your city, your state, your zip. Make sure you have your information accurate. You do have to select your state from the drop down. And this does not auto-populate information like some of the other ones will. So just type it all in. And I'm almost done with this. And then you're going to come to the part where you're going to get to pick your username and password. Go ahead and pick something meaningful to you and set up a password that you're going to remember. It will, as I mentioned, work with any HiBid account. So if you are finding that you love bidding online with auctions, you're going to be able to use this with others as well. You're going to have a few options. Let me unbid it or let me resume share. So as I finished up this stuff and I created a username and my password and it's tied to my email, you have options to hide your username from public, which it'll just then show a few characters of it so people can't see who's bidding against who. And you're also going to have the opportunity to sign up for some notifications. If you don't want them, go ahead and uncheck them. If you do, leave that checked. That way you'll know about all the auctions coming up. So we're going to finish this up and create an account. I'm certainly going to save that for me. You've successfully completed an account. You're required to register and accept the terms. Okay. Now it is going to now say to me, hey, how are you going to pay for this? Because as soon as you're wanting to place a bid, you must put a payment method in place. That does not mean you're going to get charged. In fact, we don't have to charge this card at all. It's simply to validate you as a bidder. In no way, shape, or form is this card going to get charged unless you request it to get charged at the end of the auction. So when the auction does wrap up, we will send you a notification and say, hey, so do you want us to charge the card on file, or do you want to bring a check or cash or make other payment arrangements? So that's always an option. And a lot of times we'll have folks type a note in here that says, I'm out of state, I'm going to need shipping. Be prepared. Shipping is expensive, folks. I don't think everyone always realizes how heavy and how large and how much shipping can be at times. We use the UPS store for all our shipping, so do make sure that that is something that you want to do before you do it. So I do need to add a payment method. So once again, I'm going to pause out my share on the screen while I take care of that little piece. And once you have that entered, then you're going to be ready to place your bid. And we're going to talk about how the bidding part works, because that actually is all very interesting. So let me get my billing stuff in place. Here we go. And this is pre-populating. Great. Oh, I have to nickname it. You must nickname your billing option for some reason. That's fine. And again, it didn't pre-populate a state. You have to make sure you select your state. Okay. Now I've got that done. It's got a payment method in place. I'm going to agree to the terms and conditions, check the box, and at the bottom, I'm going to click submit registration. Then I'll bring you back in to see what we're doing here. Okay. So it says, thank you for registering. So this is details about registering for the specific auction that I'm registering for in this moment. Links to the auctioneer. This is a cell phone number. You may text him if you'd like, or call him, or email him as well. You should also get an email in your email account, which I did as well, welcoming me to that auction with the exact same message. So I do see that in my inbox. So just say, okay. And now remember, when we started this, I was bidding on the quilt. So it came back to that, said, okay, here you go. So now I can go ahead and confirm my $2 bid simply by hitting confirm, and that happens. Now, please note there's some notes here. It's a 15% buyer's premium on all sales. So that means that that's not actually $2, it's $2.30, which is the 15% added on. It also is an opportunity here to say, I really want this quilt and I don't want to have to pay attention all the time on bidding. So I can set a max bid. So you can go ahead and up it to whatever amount you want. Let's go ahead and put $4 on this, but I could put $100 if I'm like, I want that. That does not mean that's what you're going to be charged. That just means that until someone else pushes the bid all the way up to $100, you're going to get it at 50 or at 30 or at whatever it ends up being at the end of the day, and you don't have to pay attention to it. So max bids can be very, very helpful. They just saves you the time of having to watch it. Now, what will happen is if I put $4 in on this item and someone comes along and bids $6, I'm going to get an email to the email account that I put on file saying you were just outbid on lot number 7. Here's a link to go bid again. So you can either just bid and keep watching for your outbids and come back and rebid, or put a max bid to save your item just a little higher than maybe, you know, where you think I'm good with that amount. If that's sold for that amount, I'd take it. Okay. So let's confirm this bid. And now it says I am winning. So I can keep going through and I can keep bidding on items. One of the other things I really like to do with these auctions is if I find there's items I really like I'm into quilts. Okay, so here's this beautiful hand-sewn quilt. I might go and click the little watch button. I didn't bid on it, but I kind of want to pay attention to it because I want to see how that one's doing. So let's just do a watch on a couple of these. And I can add a note to myself if I want, etc. And I'm just going to do one more watch. So what happens with the items that I watched? When I come to the top of the site, I'm able to come and take a look at my watched items. They are listed up here for watches, and my bids are listed up here at the top. So when I log back in, I will see, and you can display the setting a little different. This is the condensed view. I actually really like the tiled view. So I will change the layout of how it displays. This is my winning one, and these are ones I'm watching. So if I come to my watch, like I go through the whole auction, I pick the things that I most like, and I come to the watch screen, especially when the auction is closing, it's easier to watch the watch screen closing than to watch the big 1,400 items, in this case, closing every 10 seconds, which is really fast and furious. I want to focus on the things I want to focus on. And if I see these numbers are within my scope, then at any point in time, I could click bid and I could go ahead and bid on the items that I like. So those are just some suggestions for you as you do this. Your page does refresh regularly. When the auction is actually in closing, it will close live, which means that on this screen, you might not see the changes happening in the moment. So it is always a good idea to go to the current bids, or excuse me, to the main, just to the auction itself, and watch the updates happening here. And it'll be flashing at you. It dings when people bid. It's actually a lot of fun. So please, please, please let us know if you have any questions at all. And thank you so much for your interest in our auctions. Take care.